Starting a franchise is exciting, but without the right financing strategy, you can hit roadblocks fast. Here are 3 things you need to know about SBA financing for franchise startups. Number 1. Hey Beau, what makes SBA loans a good fit for franchise startups?
Well, a good portion of the loan is guaranteed by the federal government, which means that banks that are making these loans will lend higher loan to cost, a higher leverage than they normally would. So that's a big one, right? Like if you went to a bank and said, hey, I'm doing this startup, there's no collateral, and you're basing the loan on projections. Well, that's what an SBA does on a franchise startup. There is a bit more risk with these types of transactions. So having a guarantee where the government's guaranteeing 75 to 90% or 85% of the loan gives that bank a little more excitement to make these higher risk deals. Not saying that they just say, hey, go out there and we're going to just do it, because they're not going to do that, because 1, they don't want to lose their SBA license, and 2, they have to justify where they're making the loans, right? So obviously they're not going to, but they will make loans that they normally wouldn't make. And that's the purpose of SBA, to help more people get into business ownership. So that's really what's the beautiful thing about SBA.
What's the most important step before applying for an SBA loan?
Get ready to get ready. I mean, essentially, a lot of people watch my videos on YouTube and they're like, okay, I'm watching your stuff. Then they book a call and they're like, look, I'm ready to go. And then I think that's my competitive advantage, really. Yes, my other competitive advantage is I probably can get you to the right lender and your deal approved versus not getting you approved. But my advantage is you get to talk to me, you get to ask questions, and I can get you moving faster than you call a local bank and they're like, hold on, let me direct you to, John in the commercial loan department. John calls you back 5 days later. You can go to my calendar, you can book a call, you can get educated on my YouTube channel. You can get the advice you need to help you progress a lot longer. Plus, if it's a very more harder deal, I can help you get into where if you went to your local bank, they'd say, oh, you're not going to qualify. Well, I know community advantage lenders that, have competitive advantages. Like if it doesn't score on the SBS credit scoring model, they still have a program for you. I have all sorts of these conduits to get more people into business. And that's why I love what I do, is because I have, like, if you imagine a tool belt, I have a lot of different tools. I have my hammer, my tape measure, my stud finder. I got all those tools, and that's what really helps people get to the finish line by talking to a good SBA broker. There's other good SBA brokers out there, not just me, obviously, but I think that's the real value. And the real value is I'm not charging you upfront fees. I'm basically giving you great advice, getting you to the right lender, and I'm not in the middle. We're working together collectively to get you approved and get your deal closed. We always need backup plans. So I'm always, once in a while a loan gets declined for whatever reason. They get into it and they're like, hey, we can't do it. That happens, especially when you're trying to push loan to cost and leverage. Well, we have backup plans. We know where to take deals. If, hey, we're trying to get you a little bit better rate and higher leverage, it's not going to work here. We're going to get it done somewhere else. So that's the real advantage to working with an SBA loan broker.
So how do you choose the right SBA lender for a startup franchise?
Well, there's some major banks, national banks, that's what they have a division that specializes in that. And then, so we work with like the national banks, like a Huntington bank, but you got to know that Huntington banks nuances. One is 80% loan to cost, 10 locations or more. It's got to be obviously on the SBA directory. You have to have 20% down plus 10% post-close liquidity. Some franchises, even if it's on the directory, they don't like. So understanding their nuances and where they're going to have trouble approving a loan. And then I have other lenders that are like more aggressive on certain deals, because most franchises are not like an individual mom and pop franchise. Some of them have master parent companies that have 10 or 15 brands underneath their umbrella. So sometimes some of their other brands aren't performing and the bank says, hey, we're not going to do any more loans. So what we do is we network with different lenders. There's a lot of movement because franchising, if we looked at the IFA report this year, is very strong, even with our economy being a little bit unsettling right now. So we understand who's doing what, who's coming in, who really wants to push their franchise And there's a lot of restructuring going on right now too. So Huntington Bank just had a big restructuring in their franchise division. So understanding like, why is this all going on? Why is this brand not being able to be financed over here? How come this bank only relies on Fran data scores? What is a Fran data score? That's what we do internally. And we're constantly growing our list and pushing the envelope to get more and more banks and non-banks involved in the franchise financing space, because most of the banks don't like to play in the franchise financing space. They only want big established brands when it's a second or third location. No, we want to help. SBA was created to help aspiring entrepreneurs. So like, let's help people that it's their first business and they're investing in a franchise because it's got systems. So that's really what I do day in and day out.
All right, Beau, thanks for answering my questions. If you want to get pre-qualified and find the right SBA lender for your franchise startup, go to bookwithbeau.com.
Thank you. Hi guys, Beau Eckstein here, and I'm with baby Beau. Baby Beau is just a little over 4 months. He's my first child, my wife and I. So if you want to create legacy for your family, I highly suggest you go to our Business Ownership Summit. You can find all the events we're doing. Primarily, they're all free. You can go to beaueckstein.com/events. And I hope to see you at one of our events. We teach business ownership, how to leverage SBA financing, tax strategies. I'm not a CPA or attorney, but we bring CPAs on. You're going to learn why everyone should own a small business. So I hope you attend. Go to beaueckstein.com/events. I'll see you at the next one. Hey guys, Beau Eckstein here. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. We talk all things financing. I've been in the lending industry for over 20 years, and I'm happy to answer your questions and provide great content.